Alright guys, we are almost at the end of this January transfer window. Deadline day is tomorrow and so much is going on in the Championship right now. As always, I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Obviously, the main focus of today's video will be on all the transfer news right now. But if you did go to any Championship games that happened over the weekend, feel free to leave your thoughts on those in the comments down below as well. Let's go for 600 likes on today's video with deadline day now in sight. If you're not subscribed already, make sure to go ahead and do so. But without any further ado, let's jump into the done deals. This one sort of came out of nowhere. We saw Middlesbrough youngster Ajay Matthews joining Millwall on a permanent basis. The 18-year-old forward has joined Millwall on a long-term contract and will no doubt be someone they're looking to develop over these coming years. We've also had confirmation of Luke Cundle's move from Wolves to Millwall on a permanent basis, with Millwall paying a fee of around about £1 million. Cundle is someone who we've seen in the Championship on a few occasions previously, has had a few loan spells out to the EFL. There were a few murmurings of a few different clubs being interested, but in the end Millwall won the race for him. And speaking of Millwall, we also saw them breaking their club record transfer fee to sign Kemil Nejli, who's coming over from Sparta Rotterdam. The 23-year-old can play in a variety of roles. He can play on the wing as a number 10, a little bit deeper in midfield as well, and a really exciting addition here for Millwall. He's only 23 years old. I've seen the fee rumoured to be anywhere from sort of 4 million to 4.5 million, which for Millwall is, yeah, a serious chunk of change. Very excited to see how he gets on in the Championship. We've seen Stoke sending Niall Ennis out on loan to Blackpool for the remainder of the season. That was a rumour that was sort of brought up a couple of weeks ago, so no surprise to see that one go through. We've seen Siopis leaving Cardiff on a permanent basis. He's going to join Panathinaikos in Greece. Now, we did discuss Matt Grimes to Coventry on last time's video, but we have had full confirmation of that deal going through. Now, Swansea fans, let's get your thoughts on that in the comments down below. Speaking of Swansea, we have had confirmation of them signing Merkle Vidal, although the Swedish midfielder will be heading back out on loan for the second half of the season before fully joining with the Swansea squad ahead of next season. Maxim Televirov has joined Plymouth Argyle for a club record fee. The Ukrainian defender will look to come in at home park and improve their defensive record in the second half of the season. Obviously, Plymouth have received quite a bit of money during this January transfer window in incoming transfer fees, whether that's been for Lewis Gibson or Morgan Whittaker. They have reinvested a bit of that back into the squad with this signing. Plymouth have also added to their back line by signing Nikola Katic on loan for the remainder of the season from Zurich. The former Rangers defender has been capped 6 times by the Bosnia and Herzegovina national team. Watford have been using their Udinese connections again, this time to sign Norwegian goalkeeper Egil Selvik. Now, this deal is all a bit strange, to be honest with you. He only joined Udinese at the start of January. He's already left them on a permanent basis to join Watford. Before joining Udinese, he was playing quite regularly in the Norwegian top division. So Will Lancashire joining West Brom on loan for the remainder of the season. The Spurs youngster has a really good record at youth level and he's been wanted by Championship clubs for quite a while. Even thinking back to last summer, I remember a few Championship clubs sniffing around the striker, wanting to secure a loan deal. West Brom have got that deal over the line, so I'm interested to see how he gets on for the remainder of the season. We saw Blackburn Rovers completing a permanent deal for Sierra Leone international Augustus Cargbo. He was introduced to the Blackburn fans prior to that game at Ewood Park against Preston. We've seen Celtic youngster Josh Dede joining Middlesbrough on a permanent basis. Fairly versatile, the 19-year-old can either play as a fullback or as a right winger. However, before joining up with the Middlesbrough first team, he'll first of all be put into the under-21 squad to continue his development. We've seen Cohen Bramall moving from Rotherham to Portsmouth. This was a rumour that we discussed on last time's video that has since gone through. Josh Bowler's loan move with Preston North End was cancelled and he's since been sent out on loan to Luton for the second half of the season. He's a tricky one to put your finger on, Bowler. There were some flashes of quality during his stint with Preston, but he never really got a consistent run in the team, and yeah, he found himself quite low on down the pecking order under Paul Heckingbottom. Maybe Luton can get that spark back out of him that's not really been there, maybe since his Blackpool days. I mean, no doubt there is a good player there, but during his last 2 loan spells now at Preston and Cardiff, those 2 fan bases haven't really seen the best of him. After a very brief stint in the MLS, we've seen former Southampton midfielder Stuart Armstrong returning to the Championship and signing for Sheffield Wednesday. A few Championship clubs were sniffing around the experienced midfielder. Burnley were linked with him a little bit earlier on in the window, but tidy bit of business that, I think, from Wednesday. We also saw Ibrahim Sissoko having his loan spell at Plymouth Argyle cut short, and he's since been loaned out to Sheffield Wednesday for the second half of the season. Now, in the first few weeks of the campaign, Sissoko Sissoko was one of Plymouth's most eye-catching players, I think it's fair to say. Very good ball carrier, he averaged 1.8 dribbles per game for Plymouth in the Championship. But after missing a chunk of the campaign through injury, he never quite managed to get himself back up and going in a Plymouth shirt. So Sheffield Wednesday fans will be hoping to get him back to that level in the second half of the season, because there's no doubt a very good Championship player in there. We've seen Adil Ashishe joining Portsmouth on loan for the remainder of the season from Sunderland. I think that could be a really tidy bit of business there from Pompey. Creative midfielder hasn't really been afforded that many chances for Sunderland under Regis Lebris. Up until this point in the season, he's only made 3 Championship starts and 5 substitute appearances. But for a side like Portsmouth, who you'd expect him to be in that team week in, week out, I really think that could be a bit of tidy business there. Definitely an upgrade on someone like Sammy Silvera, let's say, who Pompey had on loan in the first half of the season. Since Sunderland triggering their buy option for Wilson Isidore, he's now under contract at the Stadium of Light until the summer of 2028. Given how well he's performed in the first half of the season, Sunderland have got him for a really decent fee, believed to be around about 4 million euros, which is about £3.3 million. Given how much other forwards in the Championship are tending to go for, I think that's a really good bit of business by Sunderland there. After a few weeks of speculation, we have seen Cashin joining Brighton on a permanent basis. Derby will be receiving a fee of around about £9 million up front, and a further £3 million could follow in add-ons as well. Now, it's been very well documented. Cashin has been a long-term target for Brighton. They tried to sign him last summer. That didn't end up materialising. They've gone in with a few offers in January, but in the end, this bid has gone through. It is a decent fee that Derby are receiving here, albeit they are losing one of their top performers. Derby fans, what do you make of this deal? Let me know down below. And to be fair to Derby, they have acted pretty swiftly in replacing him with Norwegian international Sondre Langas. He's coming over from Viking FC, coincidentally also the club that Derby previously signed Lance Jørgen Slavesen from as well. So we'll already be acquainted with at least one of his new teammates. The reported fee for that one being around about 4 million as well, so Derby have spent a fair whack on him. But those are some of the done deals that have gone through in the Championship over these past few days. With things happening thick and fast right now, we probably will have missed a few off that have gone through by the time you guys are watching this, so do keep me up to date in the comments down below. Now, without any further ado though, let's jump into the rumours. It does look like we're close to having a conclusion to the Latte Lath drama. Obviously, his links to Atlanta United in MLS. A deal with Middlesbrough has been agreed for quite some time. Borough set to receive a fee of around £22 million. And according to the latest reports, the player has green-lighted the move and is seemingly going to be making that move, with Middlesbrough now actively seeking replacements. And speaking of those replacements, one of them is going to be Kelechi Iheanacho, with Middlesbrough having a deal in place with Sevilla to take the forward on loan for the remainder of the season. Now, we knew coming into January that Iheanacho was available and on the market. He struggled to get much game time at Sevilla in this first half of the season. A few Championship clubs have been sniffing around. Watford earlier in the window. A few other sides have since been linked, but it will be Middlesbrough winning the race for him. He's set to undergo a medical with Middlesbrough today ahead of that loan move. And according to reports, Middlesbrough will be covering quite a substantial portion of his wages from his contract at Sevilla. Chelsea forward Marc Guiu is another forward being linked around the Championship right now, with plenty of Championship clubs interested in a loan deal for the second half of the season. Among those clubs is Middlesbrough, but you've also got the likes of West Brom, Leeds and Burnley, who I've also seen linked as well. Now, so far this season, the majority of his minutes have come in the Europa Conference League, where he scored 6 goals in 6 appearances. He's still quite raw, only 19 years old. He previously came from the Barcelona Youth Academy. If Chelsea are willing to sanction that loan deal, then yeah, there's going to be a lot of Championship clubs interested. And Middlesbrough are also said to be closing in on a loan deal for Samuel Illing Jr. He's spent the first half of the season out on loan with Bologna from Aston Villa, but has struggled to make much of an impact while in Italy. Of course, formerly of Juventus, this would be another really ambitious loan deal for Borough for the remainder of the season. Only 21 years old, predominantly plays as a winger, although also can be used as a wing back as well. By all accounts, it seems like Borough especially will be very busy in these final days of the window. And the final one on Middlesbrough for the time being, it's also been reported that Borough have turned down an offer from Porto for Hayden Hackney. Obviously, there's been a fair bit of Premier League interest in Hackney in the past, but now there are a few big European clubs sniffing around the young Borough midfielder. Now, the good news for Middlesbrough is that Hackney is on a fairly long-term contract. He's still got another 2.5 years to run on his deal at the Riverside. And with Middlesbrough set to bank a big chunk of change for Emmanuel Latte Lath, they're certainly in no pressure to accept an offer for Hackney right now. We've got Burnley at the moment, who are closing in on a loan deal for Sporting winger Marcus Edwards, and this signing really would be a statement of intent. The 26-year-old set to join Burnley on loan for the remainder of the season, but Burnley will have the obligation to buy if they are promoted. That obligation to buy being worth around about £10 million, and they'll also pay a loan fee of around about 800k as well. Now, the 26-year-old has somewhat fallen out of favour at Sporting this season, but in years gone by, he's been a top performer in Portugal, and for the Championship especially, I mean, he's got potential to absolutely rip things up. Burnley in recent weeks have been crying out for a bit more creativity, and Edwards will absolutely offer that. Really good 1v1 dribbler. That could turn out to be one of the signings of the season if he gives Burnley that extra injection of goals and creativity that they'll probably need to get over the line this season. Leeds United are still interested in Southampton forward Cameron Archer, although they have had their initial loan offer for the Southampton striker turned down. It's not just Leeds who are interested as well, as Sunderland have also been sniffing around. Leeds are obviously coming off the back of a brilliant showing in midweek as they put 7 goals past Cardiff, but an extra striker could absolutely make all the difference to Daniel Farke's side for the remainder of this season. Sunderland as well also looking to bolster up their forward options. I think Archer would be a brilliant option for either side, but as of right now it seems like Southampton are still reluctant to let him go. QPR have reportedly turned down an offer from Sheffield United regarding Jimmy Dunn. Now, the defender is out of contract at Loftus Road at the end of the season, but QPR have reportedly told the Blades that they'll be demanding a fee of at least £3 million if they want to let him go in January, which Sheffield United understandably seem reluctant to pay right now, especially with the defender out of contract at the end of the season. Sam Tickle is still being reported as a top target for Preston North End, although it seems unlikely that we'll move for him in the January window unless there was a bit of movement within North End's own goalkeeping department, if per se an offer was to come in for Freddie Woodman or anything like that. I think it will be a position we're looking to address going into the summer, especially with Woodman out of contract at the end of the season. But yeah, like I say, that seems more for one over the summer probably. Whether we'll even get someone like Tickle, I'm not so sure. I think there'll be quite a few Championship clubs interested in him in the next summer transfer window. Last time we were speaking about Leeds United reportedly being interested in Matt Targett. Well, Watford are the latest club being linked with the Newcastle fullback. However, Watford have had a loan offer rejected for him. With Lloyd Kelly on his way out of Newcastle, it seems as though they don't want to leave themselves short in that left-back department. It seems more than likely that Nottingham Forest midfielder Lewis O'Brien will be loaned out for the second half of the season, and there are plenty of Championship clubs chasing his signature right now. You've got the likes of Preston, Blackburn, Swansea, Luton and Derby who have all seen linked. I think he'd be a good addition for all of those sides, to be honest with you. Joel Ward has barely featured for Crystal Palace this season. Luton are among the clubs supposedly interested in the experienced 35-year-old fullback. Plymouth have reportedly showed an interest in taking Swansea's Jay Fulton on loan for the remainder of the season. He's sort of been in and out of that Swansea squad up until this point. He started in 7 Championship matches and has come off the bench on 9 occasions. Would add a bit more Championship experience and know-how to that Plymouth side for sure. Plenty of Championship clubs are trying to land Liverpool youngster Jayden Danns on loan for the second half of the season. He's been linked with a loan move to the Championship for quite some time. As of recording, it seems as if the clubs most contesting for his signature are the likes of Blackburn, Stoke and Sunderland. Not the news that Burnley will probably want to hear right now, but there could still be a bit of movement between now and the end of the window relating to Josh Brownhill, with a few Premier League sides still interested, as well as a few sides from abroad as well. Now, Brownhill has been linked with an exit from Burnley throughout January. His contract at Turf Moor is up at the end of the season. The likes of Everton and Wolves have been linked with for quite a while, West Ham previously, and now Brentford as well, who have also been named as one of the interested parties. But there you have it, guys. That will wrap it up for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Like I mentioned at the start of the video, rumours are coming out thick and fast in the Championship right now, and a lot is going to go down over the next 48 hours. So it's going to be quite mental in the Championship for incomings, outgoings. But thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you for all the support you guys have showed on these transfer rumour videos throughout the entirety of January. It really doesn't go unnoticed. But apart from that, thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next one.